this live stream, for joining me for another conversation. My name is Tina Martin. If you're new to me, thank you for tuning in. And if you have been around for a while, thank you for joining me here again. I am a success strategist and a confidence, and I help seasoned owners really increase the quality of their personal relationships. I'm the girl you go if you have it all together professionally, but you're struggling to get it right personally. And if you want the quality of your relationships, like the relationship with your children, the relationship with yourself, with your spirituality, or with someone you love near and dear to you, to increase, but you are known for giving yourself over too much to your work and to your business a success, then me and you should probably have a conversation. Life and my relationships. And today's topic is the top three relationships that have had the most impact in my life. I'm not going to be here with you long because you can see I have to say what's up to the people. I have Tobias here with me today, so it's going to be long. It's almost nap time for him. But I did want to pop in here and stick to speaking with you guys more often during the week. So what I'm going to be sharing, like I just said, is the top three relationships that have had the most impact in my personal life. And I want to start off with, I'm not going to talk about business too much. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. But the top three relationships that have had the most impact, I would definitely, one of the first relationships that had the most impact in my life was the relationship with my mom. Most of you, if you do know the story, that you know how rough it was for me as a kid, and for her too. She had a pretty rough childhood as well, coming up. But that relationship with my mom, in all transparency, she knows that I talk about this online. She's a huge part of my I share with my audience. She struggled a lot with being an alcoholic and mental health issues and things like that when I was a young girl. And as a result of it, I was pretty abused as a kid and as a child and as a single child at that. So being separated from my family, not being raised with, other like cousins and things like that, at a certain age, I was kind of just stripped and taken away from everybody. And it was only me and my mom and her church family. And being in that position, I was very angry for a lot of the times as a kid. That relationship to this day is still one of the top most important in life, because not just because that's my relationship taught me true compassion. It taught me to forgive, and it taught me how to have a heart for her life she went through. And instead of blaming her and blaming the circumstances that happened to me as a result of what she did and what she didn't protect me from, it really taught me how to forgive and how to love and how to have that relationship that I desire so much with my own children. And it really taught me what type of mother I want to be. So, she'll probably this somewhere, and she does, thank you, Mom, because you definitely taught me how to be the woman through the examples and through the things you didn't get to accomplish and the things that you tried to do. It showed me that I have a choice in my own personal life with how I my own children. So that's a lesson to anybody who watches this, and maybe you're watching this and you were abused as a you went through some type of difficult time in your life coming up. It does not serve, and it does not serve the person who abused you to hate them, to hold grudges them, to be angry. But what you can do is take that relationship and learn from it. Learn compassion, learn loving kindness, learn forgiveness, learn long suffering. All of those things really play a huge role of the type of person that you are going to be, that you're going to be, and C, it really helps you be a leader in your business and in your company, because you learn how to see things from different people's points of view. So that was one of the first relationship that I know had the most impact in my life. The second relationship that has had the most impact in my life is a relationship with my fiance Kaz. If you know Kaz, you know what I mean. I'm not going to do too much because he don't like to be too much in the public eye. But I just will say that relationship, you know, we came together at a time where both of us were like really broken people, and he had just lost his mom to domestic hard, as you could imagine, and I never really had a relationship with my mom. So we were really broken people. I mean, I was coming out of a church that was very abusive. It was basically a cult, which I didn't even find out until I was in my 20s. But I had been of the church since I was 9. So, and for those of you who don't know, that's the reason me and my mom don't have a really strong relationship, is because she's still a member of that cult, of that church, and they separate families. So that's the reason we're not as close to be, amongst other things. But long story short, I met Kaz when both of us were searching for something, and he taught me the real definition of love. I mean, there's a love you have for children and when you become a mother, and I had that for my son. But getting a friendship first with my fiance really showed me that I was deserving of love, and it showed me I was deserving of a person who loved me without condition, without boundaries, without limits. He didn't need me to be a certain kind of way for him to enjoy being with me. He didn't need my body to look a certain way. He didn't need my hair and my makeup to way. He didn't need me to be a certain religious belief or for me to serve God a certain way. He loved me at the core. He loved my soul, my spirit, and I had never encountered that before. Like I said, being used most of my life, encountered somebody like that, and all of the guys I had dated up until him, I never encountered them. So getting with him, it just took me to this new place that I didn't even really know existed, and that relationship opened me up to loving myself in a way that I didn't even know I could. And it has so much impact in my life because it made me realize that I had more potential than what I was using. And it made me realize I had more value than what I was acknowledging. And that really sparked and triggered me even start a business where I was empowering and encouraging other women who had gone through things that I had gone through in similar situations, because he just showed me I deserved a bigger life. And that's why I'm so about women who are in successful businesses, still searching for, you know, that and that love that you deserve, and that you know is out there, whether you're having a hard time finding it or not. And I always say this, and he'll say this too, but I always say getting with Kaz really, in a way, in my life, because I was going down this extremely dark road, and he pulled me back into the light. And you know, all of these years later, almost 10 years later, we're strong and we're still here. So that was one of the relationships that definitely had most impact in my life, for certain. And I'm gonna go soon because the baby's tired. That definitely had one of the biggest in my life. The third relationship that had the most impact in my life, let me see. I wanted this to be natural, so I didn't even write it down. I just wanted it to come authentic. So, one of the third biggest impacts in my life was, I won't say her name, but there was a woman who back in the day when I was going through when we were going through some really like rough times, one of the early days of having like our own apartment and getting out there and getting started as adults, I guess you could say. There was a man out of Atlanta, Georgia. She actually, I can't even remember how we met. I don't remember if it was through social media exactly how we came across each other, but she basically started mentoring me. And I remember I was so like I was struggling so much. Like I would define that period of our life as poor. We were really poor. We were really, really, really poor, struggling, like barely putting on the table, barely able to take care of our necessities. And she basically just one day invited me out after we had been for some time over the phone, and she was checking in with me and keeping me motivated because I felt defeated, and I felt so much like, how am I ever going to get out of this situation, even though I knew goals and I had ambitious type of girl. Like I'm really ambitious, so I knew all of those things. I just didn't know how what I was trying to do. And what happened was she invited me out one time to this really nice like restaurant in Philly, living in Philly, and we went out to, I think it was a brunch she invited me to, and she just sat down and told me her whole story, how she was also from the city, and how she had children to go start her real estate career, and all of the struggles and the stories and the things she went through as well that were so similar to where I was at that exact moment in my life. And she completely covered the meal. She paid for brunch, and it was this really nice restaurant. She just sat me down and told me her story and how she got to where she was living in Atlanta. She was only in the city, I think, for like that day. So she took time out of her trip to sit down and talk with me. Inspired me beyond, and I'm so grateful to her for that, because I hadn't had a woman do that in my life before, and I definitely know that was a saving grace for me. That also pulled me back from going down a dark road path, and it made me realize that there were other women out there in the world who were willing to lift me up in one of my darkest points, and they weren't just looking at me as the unsuccessful teenage mom, but instead they saw potential and they saw something in me that I didn't really see in myself. So that relationship had a huge impact on me, and it really boosted me up to go out there. It boosted me to go out there and go get the job that I needed and start in my business. So that to her and to that relationship, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful, because it was life changing. You don't know how impactful just a conversation in a dinner or a breakfast with somebody can be. Just sitting down and talking to a young girl or a young man about their life and where they are, and sharing your experiences. It can change somebody's life. And so I'm so grateful to her for that. But those are the top 3 relationships that had the most impact, I think, in my life. There are many, many, many others. But those pivotal for me. And so I'd love to hear, what are some of the most impactful relationships you've had in your life? How have certain moments or certain people that you've talked to, family members that you've been connected with, how have they impacted your life and changed your life over the years? Share it in a comment below. I'd love to hear from share this video out. See it. Don't forget to like as well. And I'll see you for the next live stream. Bye.